hits different when you're already pretty isolated.
It's just a different way of living.
And now, rural Oregon, facing a unique set of pandemic-related challenges, is getting a boost from Marky Mark.
Yeah, come on.
No, not that Marky Mark. This Marky Mark. People call him that, right? And he's got his finger on the pulse of Eastern Oregon. And legendary journalist Les Zaitz thinks it could take a lot more for some people to take this pandemic seriously.
Won't really snap to attention until the body starts stacking up.
And $2 trillion doesn't go as far as it used to. The government has already run out of money for small business loans. But if your line of work is of a prurient sexual nature,
puritanical guidelines that are in place.
well, sorry, because you aren't getting any loot anyway. Here's the story.
Good evening, I'm Dan Haggerty. Hi, yes, I am wearing a tie tonight. No, I'm not making a statement. I have a stain on this shirt, and I like to cover it up with a tie whenever I wear it, so I tiptoe that line between being resourceful and cheap. This is the story. We want you to get involved here, so send us an email, a DM, send me a new shirt, send me a tweet using the hashtag #HeyDan. Now, let's get started with our big story tonight, because I have a feeling it's going to get even bigger as the day ends here. We are wondering, when are things going to get back to normal? So Washington has already extended its stay-at-home order to May 4th, and Oregon's will end when Governor Brown decides. Now, President Trump has made it clear that he wants people to go back to work sooner rather than later. And in his words, he doesn't want the cure to be worse than the disease. And this week, that sentiment has taken the form of social distance-defying protests. Conservative groups in Michigan and Texas, Virginia, and a few other states have demanded that their states start to reopen. And we're hearing bubbling now in Oregon of possibly similar protests planned here. Now, to be clear, medical experts do say that if we open things back up too early, it could cause another spike in COVID-19 cases, and hospitals could possibly be overrun again. And today, President Trump appeared to do something that I think he rarely does, which is ease up a bit. Which leads us to tonight's quote of the day from the president. He said, quote, "You're going to call your own shots," meaning it's up to each state's governor to decide when it's best for them to reopen. Although he did make it clear that he hopes that it's by May 1st or even earlier. Listen, every single one of us is anxious to get things back to normal, or at least a lot more normal than what we're dealing with right now. And businesses have to start making money again. Hopefully we can do that in a way that doesn't put us right back to where we started, or even worse. But the view here in Portland is very different than what it is, let's say, in Prineville, for example. Now, we've got a dense population in the city that can easily spread the virus, but Crook County, they have like one case in the whole county. So to a lot of people in Eastern Oregon, the cure actually is starting to feel worse than the disease. Kyla Boshi takes it from here.
In rural Oregon, life moves at a different pace, and social distancing is the norm. Unlike more populated urban areas of the state, neighbors in the countryside are separated by acres.
It's just a different way of living. We don't have mass transit like they do over there, so the idea of congregating together on a daily basis just isn't part of the normal life that you have in rural Oregon.
Despite this isolation and only one confirmed case of coronavirus in all of Crook County, folks in Prineville are facing hard times due to state-mandated stay-at-home restrictions.
There are quite a few people who are out of work, and we just don't see business taking place like it used to.
Steve Uffelman, the mayor of Prineville, has seen local businesses close. Some, he fears, may never come back. Many friends and neighbors have been laid off. This town of roughly 10,000 people is suffering deeply from a virus it's largely avoided.
We haven't seen the cases here, and I think that's true of most of rural Oregon.
For small businesses in rural Oregon, the losses are more pronounced, explained Brian Iverson, who owns Foundry 4 Coffee and Whiskey.
You know, if we see 40, 50 customers a day, that's a good day for us, whereas, you know, in a place like Portland or Eugene, they're seeing that stuff, you know, every hour.
Some stores and restaurants are trying to survive with takeout or curbside delivery, but for smaller places, it's just not sustainable.
Here, it's pretty much just individual businesses, individual mom and pop types of businesses. They don't have the depth of the pocketbooks, they don't have the reserves in the bank, and so, you know, as this shutdown continues, that's stretching them a long ways.
The saving grace may be Prineville's new high-tech neighbor. Facebook, which operates a data center just outside of town, has provided grant money for local businesses, given kids computers, and equipped school buses with Wi-Fi. During the day, the buses are parked across the county, allowing students to access the internet. It's important because school is closed, and in Crook County, 25% of the students don't have reliable internet at home. Locals admit these challenges have made this tight-knit community even stronger, but there's still so much uncertainty.
When will it end? Can we plan for 30 days? Can we make it 30 days?
The bigger question for many is, should stay-at-home restrictions be lifted for certain parts of the state, like rural Oregon?
Is it necessary to have the shutdowns that we're experiencing? I think maybe if people are responsible about the social distancing and being careful about hand washing and that sort of thing, probably not so much as you have that in the larger cities.
Prineville's mayor admits this small rural town understands the severity of coronavirus and the importance of stopping the outbreak. But at what cost for an isolated rural community with only one confirmed case?
All right, let's talk to Kyle Aboshi for just a minute. So I'm wondering, what are health officials saying about all these ideas?
Right. Well, health officials say, listen, even in areas with wide open spaces like Central and Eastern Oregon, there's still concern here because if they were to reopen certain places like a library, a restaurant, a bar, a movie theater, the virus could spread. Additionally, you could have an outsider coming into a small community and the virus could potentially spike there as well.
All right, that said, is there a discussion right now with the governor, with state leaders, to kind of change the way we might handle this from community to community?
Yeah, the governor, Kate Brown, has basically laid out her idea to how to get the Oregon economy back on track and potentially reopen the state and lift some of these restrictions. Keep in mind, though, she said there are a number of factors that need to be met. Additionally, it's not going to happen overnight, and it's not going to be statewide. So theoretically, you could have certain areas like rural or eastern Oregon opening up, while other places may face those restrictions for a longer period of time.
Got it. All right, Kyle Aboshi, thank you.
Now, Malheur County is about as far from Portland as you can get without leaving the state entirely, and few people know it as well as Les Zaitz. He's a legendary investigative journalist. He worked at the Oregonian for years, and now he lives in Vail. And he's the editor and publisher of the Malheur Enterprise. He talked with our Sunrise team this morning and painted a picture of just how hard this crisis is hitting rural Oregon.
The clearest and most obvious impact has been on the economy. Malheur County is one of the poorest counties in the state of Oregon to start with. And now a lot of businesses have closed. Restaurants that tried to make it with takeout and delivery service couldn't make it. We've still got restaurants open. The hardware stores are busy. The grocery stores are busy. But a lot of people are out of work. And in an area with a weak economy, every dollar of wage is important. So people are getting very anxious. There's a lot of anxiety about what's ahead.
And Les says that a lot of people just aren't following the stay-home order or practicing social distancing because they think that they're safe in a rural area.
I worry that in Malheur County and Harney County and Grant County, that people who live in these areas, in part because of their independent streaks, won't really snap to attention until the body starts stacking up, to be coarse about it. But I'm afraid that's what it's going to take, and then it's going to be too late.
Now, on that note, here's something that we think is worth your time. It's an editorial from the Malheur Enterprise urging people to stay home despite not having many COVID-19 cases in that county. Look, they get it. A lot of people in Eastern Oregon don't like being told what to do, but no one should want to trigger a big outbreak in an area by, as they put it, being country tough and ignoring the rules. And hey, while you're on the Malheur Enterprise website, check out their other stories for a great perspective of what life is like in the rural parts of our state right now. So we may never really be able to thank our medical professionals enough for what they're doing right now to keep us all safe. But Portland Fire and Rescue and Portland Police made an attempt today. John Goodwin shows us how.
It's a beautiful day, and it's an opportunity to just show some cheer.
The idea of sharing has gotten a bad rap since this virus showed up.
You know, this was an exciting and emotional event for everybody who came up here.
And the sound of sirens doesn't usually boost morale outside the ER of any hospital.
We have so many folks on the front lines in so many ways.
Not unexpected, but definitely not unappreciated. Portland Police and Portland Fire and Rescue led a wave of gratitude that started at OHSU and made 5 other stops at different hospitals across the city.
We all have our different responsibilities and duties in our chosen profession, but we want to make sure that we recognize the folks who are taking the most risk right now are those in our medical profession, and we love and support them.
It means a lot to us, just the support and them coming out to appreciate us.
Sunita Patel is on the environmental services staff at Legacy Emmanuel. In other words, the ones who disinfect the hospital. Talking to her and the others on her team, one word comes to mind: strength.
And we're blessed to be here.
We can handle this. We are here to support everybody.
At the very least, this powerful procession didn't touch anyone, while still managing to reach everyone.
I have a sister who's an ER nurse in another state, and so for me personally, you know, I know what they're doing on the front lines.
There is no limits. One goal, one team, no limits.
Maybe the handshakes and hugs have to wait for another day.
Always think positive.
But this curve-flattening, spirit-lifting gesture was the perfect gift for these unsung heroes.
Our efforts are paying off, and so we just want to remain committed to making this difference out here and persevering. We're saving lives, each and every one of us.
Thank you, Fire Department. Thank you, Police Department, all to show up today and cheer for us, what we do here.
In Portland, John Goodwin, KGW News.
She may be out of work, but she's staying busy making masks. And in return,
I don't think it's fair.
she's getting 0 small business loan dollars because she's a burlesque dancer.
You can count on me like 1, 2, 3.
It might not be the concerts you're used to attending, but for the time being, it's what we got. And you know what?
I need somebody to hear, somebody to know.
It's pretty good. You can watch it every night when the story continues.
Hello, my name is Russell Meyer. I'm a senior at Tualatin High School, and I'm looking forward to going to Western Oregon University. It's kind of a bummer I can't hang out with my friends right now, but I'm having a blast watching way too many Netflix movies with my family. Hope everyone has enough toilet paper out there. This is quite the year to remember.
All right, thanks, Russell. We love those senior moments, man. Keep them coming. Send them in. You can email them to us at thisstory@kgw.com or just tweet them at us using the hashtag #HeyDan. All right, let's do another quick round of good news, bad news, shall we? First, how about the good news? After we put Oregon's ancient unemployment system on blast yesterday, today the governor said that the state will, in fact, waive the one-week waiting period to apply for unemployment, and it will apply retroactively to people who have already filed. So this could provide more than $100 million in additional benefits. Wow. All right, so that's the good news. Ready for the bad news. So apparently $2 trillion doesn't go quite as far as it used to. And the federal government at this point has run out of money for small business loans. That's right. The U.S. Small Business Administration processed 14 years worth of loans in less than 14 days, totaling more than $311 billion. But now they're not approving any new loans for the Paycheck Protection Program or for the Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program. And there are thousands of small businesses still waiting for financial help, including Pok Pok owner Andy Ricker. Pok Pok had to close 6 restaurants. They laid off 160 people, and he still doesn't really know what the future looks like.
But I can say that without this money, it's almost certain that we will not come back whole. We will somehow, Pok Pok will exist as a brand, but will every single restaurant reopen doing the same thing we did before? I don't know how that's going to happen.
SBA is now asking Congress to approve some more money for this Paycheck Protection Program and says that they will issue new loans if that happens. So, even though the loan program is out of money at this point, there is a big industry that couldn't even apply when they did have the money available, and that's the adult entertainment industry. They're not eligible because of the types of businesses they run. And some have sued over that. I talked to a burlesque dancer today who works in Portland.
Even the venues where I work, the bars, the theaters, the clubs, they aren't able to get anything. I really don't think that it's fair that legal businesses that pay their taxes, legal entrepreneurs, people who are doing things that are completely legal and who pay their taxes aren't able to get any help.
That's Abigail, and right now she is out of work, but she is passing the time by helping people in need. She's been sewing hundreds and hundreds of masks and donating them. She's been posting pictures online and sending them to people all over the country who reach out to her, and people have been donating supplies so that she can even make more.
It's very fulfilling so far. I'm very happy to be able to help people.
She tells me she's also been partnering with some other Portland dancers who are making masks as well. And right now, Abigail is living off of savings and looking for some other work. But she says a lot of dancers don't have much to fall back on. And like a lot of people, are struggling just to get unemployment.
Have you checked your bank account lately for the $1,200? Those stimulus payments have already started showing up for a lot of Americans. But this isn't the first time the government has handed out tax-free money. So how did we get here? We'll have to go back to the last time the economy tanked, 2008's Great Recession.
Financials took a big beating, Lehman down almost 20%.
President Bush was still in office when Wall Street panicked and the stock market took a nosedive.
The Federal Reserve has moved quickly.
To try to give Wall Street a jolt, leaders passed a stimulus package that put $600 in the pockets of most Americans. Couples got $1,200, and each kid added another $300. The idea was for Americans to spend that money as soon as they got it and jumpstart the economy, kind of like using a defibrillator on a heart. But a survey later found that only 20% of Americans spent that money on the spot, and about 32% of people put it right into a savings account, while almost half used it to pay off other debts. Now, in 2020, the crisis is completely different. Instead of being centered on Wall Street, it's spread throughout main streets across America, and a one-time burst of spending won't cut it for Americans who may be out of work for a long time, like patching a hole in the wall while the foundation crumbles underneath you. 2 House Democrats have proposed additional monthly payments of $2,000, but it still has to work its way through Congress and eventually be signed by President Trump. And that's how we got here.
Honey, I shrunk the NASA payload. At least that's what NASA wants you to do. I'm Matt Safino, and you can be part of a new contest. Do you know NASA holds contests? They do. They actually do it quite a bit. They're kind of fun. if you have some ingenuity in you. So are you sitting around at home going, hey, I got a lot of time on my hands, and you want to create something and invent something useful? Check this out. NASA is literally holding a contest. If you've got time in your hands, here's the challenge. Create something useful, no bigger than a bar of soap. That's a challenge. That can support long-term human presence on the moon, because that's where NASA is going. But that's right, something you designed could end up on the moon. Now, NASA's not looking for doilies or mini lava lamps or, anything like that. They want stuff that can help explore and identify resources that will help support human life on Earth's only natural satellite, because NASA plans on sending in 2024 a man and the first woman to the moon. That's right, we're going back to the moon. That's what NASA wants to do. And they hope that lunar water ice in future missions will be there to support the crew. And that's what they're looking for. They're looking for you to come up with, so let's say a robotic water witch, no bigger than a bar of soap. That sounds easy, right? And they want to hear from you. So let me show you the website for this, because it's kind of interesting. And that's what it'll look like. Those little robots, and they want little payloads to go on those little robots to help support NASA's mission there with the 2024 mission that is going to the moon. It's called Artemis, named after the Greek goddess of the moon. Also, I believe it was sister.
Oh no, Matt has been lost. Matt is lost on the moon. He's gone. We lost him. Well, he is reporting from home, so that's kind of what we're dealing with right now. But don't you love that we're going back into space doing all this amazing stuff? Oregon engineers, designers, get to work. Let's get some stuff up there on the moon. Thanks to Matt. So apparently, I didn't know about this, but there are some rumors that have been spreading using the hashtag HeyDan that I don't know who Storm Large is. I'm going to address some of that next. And we're keeping Portland musical from our front porches when we finish the story. Okay, so apparently there was some drama last night on the Hey Dan hashtag because of how I closed out the show after a story about Storm Large. I guess people thought that it sounded like I had no idea who she was. Pam Garrett tweeted, that's Storm Large, Portland icon. You should get to know who she is. Okay, for the record, I know who Storm Large is. She's amazing, and I'm happy to report tonight
that Storm Large knows who I am, too. Can you believe this? She even gave us a shout-out using hashtag HeyDan. So I'm going to give her a return shout-out tonight. She's doing live-streamed concerts and raising money for local artists who can't make any right now. So if you don't already follow her, go for it, because it turns out her heart is 8 miles wide, too. All right, let's end things with some more music tonight, shall we? Because it seems like that's how a lot of people have been coping with this quarantine. Devin Haskins talked with some high schoolers who have turned these porch concerts into a nightly thing. So please, have a good night. I hope yours is as beautiful as the weather. And please, stay safe.
It's not the typical concert venue they would normally sing in.
Hello, I'm Noeline. I'm a junior.
They are performing on the porches of their homes and playing into the living rooms of ours.
Hi, I'm Ellen Berteau from Mountain View High School.
Hi, I'm Sophie Hansen from Mountain View High School. Welcome to EPS Porch Concerts.
Their songs are either handwritten or ones we know and love.
I'm going to be performing the song Yesterday
Some
by the Beatles,
even with a twist.
but I changed up the lyrics a little bit.
These are just a few of the members of the Mountain View High School choir, past and present.
You seemed so down to earth.
Their director, Jenny Bell, saw a similar idea nationally and saw this as a way to see her students again doing what they love.
We've gone through quite a pattern of emotions, but when we first got the news, it hit us really hard in the music world because we are a family and we didn't know that we weren't going to say goodbye to each other.
Oh, there are times in life when we mess up.
There was a lot of things we missed about not getting that closure.
Now I need somebody to hear, somebody to know.
Each night at 5 p.m., the district posts a new song on social media.
When we are cold,
Senior Sophie Hansen chose Count on Me by Bruno Mars.
you can count on me like 1, 2, 3, and I'll be there.
Kind of talking about like friendship and like counting on each other like during hard times. And I felt like that was just like perfect for a time right now.
Her senior year upended by a virus, depriving her and others of those once-in-a-lifetime senior experiences.
We had made it to state for dance and choir, and I'm going to miss out on the final concert for choir, senior prom.
Senior Ellen Berteau went a different route.
COVID-19 seems so far away. Now it's taking my senior year away.
I wish I could go back to yesterday, like when I didn't have to worry about all this like coronavirus and like canceling everything.
Separated by a virus, they are helping to bring us all together from a distance through music.
I can't help but just sing along, and I know that singing brings joy to me.
It just brings everybody together. Like when you're listening to the same song that like you were in a different moment, you can kind of go back to that moment and all be there.
Bringing us together by a language we all understand.
Now at home I will stay,
No matter where we are.
I believe in quarantine.
Devin Haskins, KGW News.
Mm-hmm.